Hello everybody, welcome to Bad Big Games. I'm your host Joseph, and today we're going to give my first impressions, my noob impressions of Monster Hunter Worlds. From a series that I've never touched before until now, is it open to noobs like me? Is it worth playing alone? All those things we're going to get into, but first, Future Joe, roll the intro. So, gang, before we talk about my impressions of the game, how I enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, I first have to tell you guys where I'm coming from as a gamer to this series. A series that, to be completely honest with you guys, I've never been attached to. The closest time I ever was when I was about to purchase it on the 3DS, but backed off because Monster Hunter, for a lot of gamers, is known to being this big, huge game on such a little tiny package, whether that is the PSP, whether that's the 3DS. And those titles, though, again, attracted me like generations, I kind of backed away from the game because it would just seem to be too much. I heard so many things about like how this is like 100+ hour game, how there's so many menus, how maybe it's a bit too comprehensive for my liking on a handheld. And so, with that said, going into this series, going into this game, I know nothing about Monster Hunter. I don't know about the story. I don't know about the characters. I don't know if there's any time lapses. I don't know really much about the combat other than it is an action game of some sort, a third-person action game of some sort. So with that said, walking into Monster Hunter World, when I first saw it at E3, I didn't care for it. I didn't mind, hey, if you're excited for Monster Hunter at this point, being on a console for the first time since I don't even know, then cool, good for you, but it just didn't seem for me. Until, friends like my friend Dan, my friend Ren, from the PlayStation podcast days, they were hyping me up. They go, Joe, this is perfect for you. This is going to be on the console of your choice. The game's fantastic. Don't worry about it being too convoluted or maybe too comprehensive or, the whole, menu spam that you're fearing in your head. This game's great. And also, there's kitty cat people. Joseph, these cute little kitty cat people, you're gonna love this game. And so I saw the first gameplay footage and yeah, I liked it. And then what did I do? I went media black on the game. Yeah, other than a few, maybe another trailer or two I saw, I didn't get to play the beta. None of them. I didn't actually have the chance to. And so with that, I come in totally blind. I don't know how any of the weapons work. I don't know how the game works. And so in the beginning, hearing all these rave things from fans about the game, I was like, wow, okay, I'm in for a treat. And the first 30 minutes was strange to me because I see like 8s, 9s, 9.5s, like places like IGN, GameSpot, Polygon. And then the first thing I notice is that none of the voices are syncing to the mouths. And I understand that Monster Hunter is a Japanese game first, Western second. Though, Capcom, this is a huge risk for them trying to go so bold into the West with this game. And so with that, I kind of felt this was a little weird. I was like, ugh, I'm not getting used to any of these voices because none of them are matching. But with that, within the first 30 minutes, I got used to that. I also started getting used to some of the menus. And like most JRPGs or Japanese-styled games, they like to kind of, I say handhold, but really throw you a lot of information at once. And Monster Hunter does do that, but it does it in a bit better way. It didn't seem like they were throwing a whole lot of text at me, but it was like, okay, we're going to throw you a bunch of text, then we're going to give you a piece of the world. And it seemed like they were giving me digestible chunks, 10 minutes at a time. Okay, we're going to give you some text, then experience the world, see a few monsters, see a weapon that you like, roll with it, and then we're going to give you some more text and more menus about how the armor works, how the food system works, how the crafting system works, and then we're going to toss you out in the wild again. And I actually, for Monster Hunter, didn't mind the hand holding. Usually in games, I'm like, okay, enough is enough. It's the reason why I couldn't get into games like Persona, because 5 hours in, I'm still being tossed these new concepts that, to be honest, kind of seem overwhelming. So first things first, if you're worried about this game being overwhelming for you, don't worry about it. It really isn't too bad. Your fears, your anxiety, it's overblowing the situation. It's actually not that bad, and it is, again, yeah, a bit too much, but it's still digestible. You can still do it. There's nothing to be scared of. Now, with that said, when they finally put you into the world and give you your first hunt, I think what Monster Hunter does really great is introduce each of these monsters that you're going to be fighting. In the beginning, you're afraid of these little lizards, these little like lizards that, yeah, well, they're big, they're like 6 foot like long, but they're just small little creatures, and you're running away from them. And then you're running away from this big giant version of the lizard. He's like, yeah, this time he is like 5 SUVs. We'll just go give measurements in cars. So he's like 5 RAV4s, and yeah, he's very intimidating. He could swallow, other dinosaurs whole, and that is super scary and super intimidating. And he's the first guy you're gonna fight. And that's the one thing I really liked was right when it introduced you to the hunting, that's where this game really takes off. The game has these stages of like, okay, first things first, you're going to find these tracks. You're going to get enough of these tracks, investigate enough that you're going to find it sent through these little flies on your pouch. They're going to light up the way for you. And once you meet them, that's your fight, right? So right off the bat, you have your tracking, then you have your fight. And once you get them wounded enough, they start fleeing. So then you're on the chase. And the chase is actually a ton of fun because though the world and you're fighting this one thing and you're chasing after this one thing, it's very easily that you could run into another monster. I was fighting this electrocution like lizard slash squirrel thing. And this thing, again, when I was fighting it, it was hard as nails. But what happened was when I was chasing it in the second wave, this big Tyrannosaurus Rex you've seen in all the trailers, it's like half chicken, half dinosaur, half velociraptor, half dragon bat thing, comes in and starts, it's a half of a lot of things. Man, bear, pig of dinosaurs come in and just totally start fighting this this electric squirrel with me. It actually helps me out. And then he turns around and starts fighting me. And I get scared. I run away because I'm a coward and I don't want to get eaten. And that was the beauty of it. It was like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Oh, wait, look at you. I'm going to start attacking you. It was like, everything's fair game. So when you're out in the world, whether you are fighting a beast, whether you're tracking a beast, anything can happen. And that's what I really, really like in this game. So when, you're first tracking a beast, then you're fighting it, then it's the chase, then you're fighting it some more, and then the best part of it is then you loot. And that's what this game's all about. It's all about, the loot that you obtain, the upgrades you could do to your weapons, the armor that you can get, the weapons you can get, all the things that make games as services great today, you could do in Monster Hunter for free. And that's what's really awesome is, hey, you want the cool gear? Go out there, hunt for it. And the one awesome thing too about all these monsters is that, let's just say there's some things you need to break off the monster first. So sometimes you need part of their tail, sometimes you need part of their scales, and you literally need to cut off a motherfucker's tail before you can actually take that item. So it's really great because it makes you attack and think of situations long term, going, okay, I need to attack this thing's tail a whole bunch, or I need to jump from 20 stories and clash on this thing's tail to cut it off, and that's how I could get my new chest plates or my new blades that I really, really want. That's how I'll approach this situation. So it makes hunting the beasts more varied because you're going to be killing these things over and over again. And so with that said, the monsters also vary. Every single monster, they have their basic things like, dinosaurs could tail whip, things like that. They all have their standard moves, but they also have things that make them different. Every character in this game or monster, there really are these stars of the game that you come in contact with. They all have different abilities that make them so unique. So remember, I fought this, again, giant squirrel slash lizard that was just, electrocuting me left and right. Then I fought this Tyrannosaurus Rex. There are two totally different beasts, meaning two totally different movesets. At the same exact time, we got this evil iguana I just killed. Totally different moveset, totally different way of fighting. That means every single engagement is something different. And every single engagement, for me at least, and maybe it's just because I'm bad, took at least anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes on. And that was the greatest thing. The game really clicked to me when I was fighting the first guy and I had to go and do something. I was just like, 5 more minutes. I wanted at least just 5 more minutes because I think I got this thing on the run. And that's where the game clicked with me. I really started to enjoy myself. Now, the one other thing that you guys say, okay, Joe, this seems like a lot, is that there's 14 different weapons. How do I know which one's right for me? And it's simple. First off, that's not a bad thing. You know, having too many choices, yes, could be bad, but when they're weapons, that means there's 14 different ways to play at least 10 different ways to play, because there's some variants of some weapons that act very similar. So there's multiple different ways to play, meaning there's going to be a style for you. So in the beginning, I had something called the charge blade, and as a noob, I found out that was a really stupid decision on my part, because the charge blade is actually pretty difficult to wield if you're a noob like me. The charge blade is this huge sword, this huge shield that when I sheath my sword, I actually pull out a huge giant battle axe that's even, sometimes bigger than the monster I'm fighting, and start whipping it around. There's weapons like this huge samurai sword that does a huge amount of damage, huge amount of reach. There's even this charge lance that shoots lasers. It's like a gun blade from one of those Final Fantasy games you kids love so much. There's weapons for everybody. So for me, I found that there was something called the dual blades. And these blades were super easy for noobs because the combos are really easy. And as a person that sucks at fighting games and especially sucks at combos, this gave me the perfect in for this game. So I felt like I was always able to do what I wanted to do. It made me feel like the rogue from World of Warcraft I always wanted to be. And so with that, every weapon has their own different feel. Every weapon has their own specialty. Like I said before, with the charge blade, with the dual swords, I'm able to go into this demon mode that turns me all red and badass. Again, the lance, you could shoot shit out of it. There's all these different things these weapons can do. There's always going to be something for you. And so with that, yeah, every weapon has its purpose. Every weapon has its own ability. My favorite one that I want to learn right now is oh god, what is it? It's pretty much like a double-sided blade that launches you in the air if you're smart enough with it, and you can just start attacking mid-air on these beasts. It's kind of like you're a human torpedo. You're a human missile just launching yourself at these beasts. It's awesome to see every single time. Like again, I'm fighting with my friends and I'm seeing one guy just launch themselves in the air. It's a spectacle to behold, and that's what Monster Hunter is about. It's about hunting, but with your friends. And I got to play this game with a few other people. My friend King really, really helped me out in the beginning, showing me the ropes, and seeing someone who is totally capable of kicking ass, who is a Monster Hunter veteran, seeing them go toe to toe with some of these beasts. I know it sucks, but one time I sat back just to watch, like for like 5 seconds. I'm like, this is art. This is amazing. Playing with friends is so much fun. It is incredible. Going on a hunt with each other, you're able to set traps better. You're able to fight the monsters more strategically, and really, it's a whole lot of fun. It really is. Now, you don't get the advantage of the beast because there's, depending on how many people there are in your party, which you can have up to 4, the beasts also have more health. So, again, if you're fighting a T-Rex, just because you have 4 people, isn't going to make the fight go any faster. Instead, you have to be smarter and you have to lay things like traps. You have to, know your place in the engagement even more. Now, you might say, Joe, I don't have friends. I don't have friends that want to play Monster Hunter. Maybe they're out there going playing other games, but I'm interested in it. Well, I have to say this. 80% of the game I have played solo, and I have enjoyed it very much so. You can never get the experience like playing with your friends. I always love being social rather than playing alone. But when I was playing alone, I enjoyed myself a shit ton. Again, I've played it 80% alone, and I've enjoyed myself. This game to me is some of the best gameplay that I've gotten to experience in the last few months, in the last at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 months. If this game came out in 2017, I would put it up there in my Game of the Year contenders, at the very least, from what I've played so far, and I've played at least a dozen hours of this game. It's something that I could get lost into because the worlds itself that you roam around in are so beautiful, are so vast, and so intimidating at times because you never, again, feel alone. There's monsters everywhere. But when those monsters do come, you can always hold your own. So, with that, I have to say, guys, gang, did I like this game? Yeah, I did. Either though the things like the story are very meh, to say the least. There's so many things to do. You could customize yourself, you could customize your weapon, you could customize your little palico friends. Oh, the little furry friends. They're the fucking cutest thing I've ever done, fucking seen in my life. I have a pork mug downstairs. These things are adorable. I love them. They're my new furry friends. But other than that aside, other than like the blessed story, the bad voice acting, and yes, sometimes it gets menu city, this game is amazing, and those are small faults to an overall amazing game, and that is coming from someone who isn't good at the game. I mean, if I put gameplay footage up here, you can see for yourself, it's not that great. I'm not the bee's knees at this game by any means, but when the game clicks for me, it clicks, and it's something I want to go back to. It's something I want to do right now. I want to stop this video. I don't even want to edit it. I want to go and play Monster Hunter. It's the thing that's constantly on my mind the past few days. So, with that said, we don't do rates or reviews here. Again, this isn't a review. I, though, need to address, because there's so many people coming up to me going, Joe, I've never played Monster Hunter. What do you think about this game? And that's why this video is out there. So, guys, I hope I nailed it for you guys. If you're on the fence, go out there, jump over it. You please pick up this game. It is worth it. It is worth your time. Go out there, buy Monster Hunter. It's worth the $60. It really is. Also, if you're a PlayStation member, there's an event right now, the Horizon Zero Dawn thing that comes with your box. You could turn your little Palico kitty cat into a watcher. Who doesn't want that? It's the cutest thing in the world. So with that said, with that all out of the way, guys, gang, usually we do news, we do rants, and now today we're going to introduce first impressions. So if you liked what you see here at Bad Big Games, we talk about all things games, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, games themselves, the gaming industry at large, then please hit like, share, subscribe. It helps me out, shows me that you care. And guys, comment down below of what you all think about this game. Are you interested in it? Are there some questions that I didn't tackle in this video that you need answered? Please leave them down below. I'll get to them ASAP. And yeah, leave your thoughts. And if there's people that need help down below and you're a veteran, please help them out. That's what Bad Big Game's all about. It's all about the conversation, but more so, it's all about helping each other out. So, with that said, also, last but not least, I almost forgot Patreon. How could I? How dare I? The Patreon, make us better. You guys truly do. Day in, day out. Patreon.com/make us better. Thank you, guys and gals, going out there. Again, $1 a day keeps the debtors at bay, is what I always say. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. And yeah, with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody keep your wits about you. Have a great one.